How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. On today's episode, I'm going to be replacing the turbo on this Honda Civic Type R with the upgraded Mitsubishi replacement that they offer, which is really nice because it's essentially the same company who makes the turbo for Honda, the OEM turbo. So we're just going to be replacing it with their upgraded version, and I'm going to go ahead and show you step by step what you need to do. Obviously, we're going to start with removing the air box here, the hose over here, the inlet piping, and then we're going to start taking out the shield, the O2 sensor, downpipe, and etc. So I'm going to go ahead and start by removing the air box, taking out the screws. I'll take out this hose, and then I'll get to the inlet. I'll show you a couple screws there that you need to watch out for and remove. All right, guys, I got the inlet out. Obviously, this one had an aftermarket one, but if not, you have the OEM one, which is very similar. You got to take out 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts right there. You're gonna have to take out your intake tube right here, your coupler, whatever you might have over there. And then you're gonna have these 2 bottom bolts here. These, as you can see on the turbo, these have been replaced and they are studs instead of bolts. So these had nuts on them. But if you have an OEM setup, then you're gonna have 2 12mm bolts right there instead of those studs with nuts. So after that, now we're gonna have to start removing the O2 sensor over here. Already broken loose, still kind of tight, so I'm gonna have to put the ratchet on it. Take out the shield. If you watched my last video on the downpipe I did, you know it's a kind of a pain, especially the bolt right over here. So this downpipe has been changed. It wasn't by me, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if the guy put the bolt back. We'll find out. All right, guys, once you come down here, I'm gonna do this before I break loose the cap bolts or the downpipe bolts because it makes it a lot easier to do it now. Obviously, you're gonna have to take out the shield. This one doesn't have it because, you know, Jersey snow ripped out this shield, so we're gonna be replacing that shortly. But to focus on the downpipe now, I'm gonna take out, take out this one, take out the 3 exhaust bolts, take out the other bracket bolt right over here. And then you're gonna loosen the 2 block ones, one on this side and one on the other side of the downpipe. And these are all 14mm heads, or if you maybe done a PRL or something like that, it might have a 10mm hex or so. They usually like to use that. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, and then I go back up top. All right, guys, so here we are. Downpipe's out. No broken bolts. If you don't know my method that I use to make sure that none of these bolts break, basically guarantee, you know, that if you own one of these cars, that broken bolts and downpipes are kind of a thing. They kind of go hand in hand. So I have a method that works. I'll post a link and a card up in the description or the comments below. And anyways, downpipe's out. The shield is out. This shield right here, this bolt is in the front of towards the front of the car, in between the turbo and the radiator. I get it from underneath with the ratcheting 12. It's kind of a pain in the butt. You can see this guy, whoever installed the downpipe, had to enlarge the hole over here to make it work because of on this side it was rubbing the downpipe and it didn't have the hole for the bolt to go through. So no big deal. It was on there, it wasn't rattling. So now we're gonna go ahead and start removing that lower bracket right there with the 14. That bolts to the block, also bolts to the turbo. Gonna have to remove the drain down there. And then we're gonna start removing the piping all the way down there. Get the 4 bolts off over here. The oil feed right over here, just 12, also goes to the block. There's a 10 down there. Take that out, make sure you don't bend that pipe. And then the coolant lines right there. It's 2 10s also. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Then once I have everything out, I'll talk a little bit more. All right, guys, turbo is out. So you got 4 14mm over here. This is the coolant feed in return. It's at 2 10s. Then I took off the hard pipe from the hose over here. I might redo this. This is kind of tight to get out, so we might revisit that. But anyways, that's basically that. This is the drain, so I'm gonna have to swap the tube over to the new turbo, new gasket. This is the coolant passages right here. So new gasket for there. Stock pipe's gonna bolt up to here for this. Gotta switch over to vacuum lines and stuff like that. Also gonna have to try to take out these titanium studs and swap them over. If not, then maybe we'll just put on regular 12mm nuts. We'll see. So let's see. Stock wheel. And the upgraded turbo. See the exhaust side. There you have it, guys. All right, we're gonna start swapping the stuff over, and then we'll get putting it back together. So here we are. The new turbo is in place. As you can see, it has no studs, and there's a reason for that. So, doesn't come with any studs, so I try to take them off of the old turbo, and it started to come out a little bit, and then it kind of, that's it, that's all came out. So I didn't go any further because in case we ever want to reuse this, or he wants to sell it or whatnot, I don't want to break it and give ourselves more headaches than we need to. So if you guys are going to be upgrading this, doing a turbo upgrade, I suggest and highly recommend you get 2 new studs. Here's the part number 90010-59B-000. And the short end's going to go in the turbo, the long end's going to stick out. And they're going to go diagonally in the same location. So I'm going to go ahead and install that. We're going to keep moving. So if you're going to be installing them, I use 2 locks, kind of face them each other, lock them against each other. And then you're gonna use the outside one to drive it in. Once it's all the way in, you're gonna back that one up. Just crack it loose. That's it. The stud is installed. I did put on some anti-seize, and I'm gonna do the same for the following, for the bottom. Then we're gonna get start putting the oil feed on. Got a new copper gasket for that, copper washer. No gasket for down there for the coming from the block, and then we'll do the coolant gasket right there, the coolant pipe, get the downpipe on, and we'll get cracking on this. All right, guys, so we have the downpipe on. It's bolted at the turbo and at the bottom to the front pipe. We got the turbo bolted up, obviously. We got the oil feed bolt. This is a banjo bolt right there. Everything's torqued. We'll replace the washer. It's a double copper washer. It's bolted to the block. We got the coolant pipe over here bolted down. We got the studs in, titanium studs. We're gonna go ahead and start putting the shield back on over here, which should be fun as always. And then we're gonna put the inlet pipe and connect everything back together. Then we'll start her up and see, make sure there's no leaks, and make sure everything's okay. All right, guys, so as you can see, everything's back installed. Nothing's rubbing. Got the intake hooked up over here. So we're gonna go ahead, fire her up. We're gonna top it off with coolant. Make sure we bleed the system. Since we did have the coolant ports open, you wanna make sure there's no air pockets. We switched over to a PRL intake. This car is gonna get a high volume mass inflow sensor housing. So a 3.5 inch versus a 3 inch. So we're ready to make some power. So I'm gonna go ahead and start it, bleed the coolant system, take it for a quick spin, make sure everything is good. Make sure the turbo's spooling, make sure there's no leaks, anything like that, and then we'll come back for some finishing notes. All right, guys, here we are. Car's running. Sounds good. no leaks, no smoke, no nothing. Quick note, if you have the rampage fab inlet pipe, as you can see, there's no bolt for this harness to clip onto, to bolt onto. So I noticed when I started it that the harness was very close to the water pump pulley down there. So I zip tied it to that to this pipe right here. Lightly, don't go too crazy. As long as there's enough clearance right there now, we're good. That being said, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something. If you are gonna go install a turbo yourself, maybe this will give you some confidence. Just take your time with it, do your due diligence, do your homework, and you'll be all right. Enjoy the additional power.